Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
And this is Triple Play, that podcast with Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen body, because this month we rode/watched the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Which opened on
1967.
1967, yeah, that. So we should probably explain what exactly we did for this.
Yeah, I just watched a guy who super definitely legitly took a camera on the ride in 4K, by the way. 4K.
Okay, so obviously, I mean, if you listen to last month's episode, we watched the first three Pirates of the Caribbean movies, so we were like, man, what do we do for the 0.5 for this? Because if you don't know, we don't go right to the next trilogy. We do something related to the movies we watched, and we were like, man, there's nothing related to Pirates except the ride. So,
well, there are those other things we just didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Like trying to find a cracked copy of the MMO from 5 years ago.
But no, we ended up deciding to ride the ride, but we didn't want to spend $110 on Disneyland tickets because that's how much they cost now. So I was like, I YouTubed the ride and found someone who recorded the ride. And we're like, oh, let's just watch this. But it just so happened that I decided to get a Disneyland pass. An annual pass. So I rode the ride like 2 nights ago, and Dylan just watched it, and now we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I actually looked up some vague history about the ride.
I didn't.
This was, I think, the last ride that Walt Disney himself actually had a hand in designing/creating before he passed away.
Maybe that's why it's crap.
Wow, it's not that bad.
I mean, if you actually wrote it, you would think...
I've ridden it before, it's not that bad.
I didn't like it that much. I like the video more.
But the ride is just a video with extra movement, so I feel like the ride should, by definition, be better.
I mean, we'll get into it, but yeah.
Well, I guess we'll explain the ride.
Yeah, so you didn't wait in line for the ride because you weren't there.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, so first of all, the line... I'm pretty sure... Okay, I should probably explain that I got into Disneyland at like 10:30, so this is also why... At night, and it closes at midnight, so this is also why I was pissed the line took like 30 minutes. So, I think I remember this from when I went to Disneyland, which the last time I went to Disneyland was like 7 years ago. I mean, before 2 nights ago when I went. So I'm pretty sure they have these wait times on signs in front of the rides, like, this line should take approximately 15 minutes or so, but I'm pretty sure those are like minus 10 minutes for most of them.
I actually know how they determine those times, and I'm going to tell you right now, because I actually had personal experience with this. One year I went to Disneyland with school, and we went on Indiana Jones, and as we were walking up to the ride, there was a cast member standing in the front, like at the front of the line, and he handed us this tag, and the tag said, hand this to the cast member at the end of the line. Because this is for the timing purposes. So you go through it, and they time how long that tag takes to get from the back of the line to the front, and then that's the time they put on the board.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're waiting in the line at like 10:45, 11, there's probably like, they probably don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think they like update it
like that late.
Like every hour or that late. So like midday it'll be pretty accurate because that's the peak time, so they'll keep it pretty updated, but I'm sure as it gets later in the day they don't do it as much.
Surprisingly, I mean, I went on Friday night, so maybe this isn't that surprising, but I was pretty surprised how packed the park was at 10:30 at night.
Everybody likes to stay for the fireworks, I guess.
The fireworks are around 9, so I don't know. Anyway, that was why I was kind of... I mean, I wasn't pissed. I was just like, oh man, because I only got to ride that and Matterhorn, so Matterhorn sucks, by the way.
Wow, you must just hate every ride at Disneyland.
No, I just hate Matterhorn and Pirates.
Why?
But yeah, it took 30 minutes when the sign said 15, so the line is pretty cool. It sort of takes you around the New Orleans area of Disneyland.
Yeah.
There's a couple bridges you go across in the line.
And under.
Yeah, those you go in like this sketch back alley looking area, except it's not sketch because it's Disneyland, and there's also hundreds of people around you. There's this one part of the line. I got scared in the line because there's this one part where you're walking by. Basically, there's a wall separating you and a later part of the line, and there's a window, and some guy just, and there's curtains in the window, and some guy just pulled back the curtains and knocked on the window really quickly, and it scared the heck out of me, and I just looked over and saw his his quickly receding hand pulling back from the window. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do that when I get to that part of the line, and I did. I don't know if I scared anyone, but yeah.
They added those bridges later because apparently there was a lot of congestion between people not in the line and the people in the line all colliding with each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually something I noticed. There was some confusion, like, near the beginning of the line. Like, are these people in line? Like, does the line start here? Like, what are we doing? And some people just hopped in line, because basically the start of the line, I mean, there was probably about 50 feet between where the line actually says, like, line up here, and where the last people in line were, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So some people just, like, hop in right where they see, because, I mean, you can't really blame them for this. They see, like, oh, that part of the line is empty. We'll just hop in right here. We're not cutting anyone. But then there's, like, also people walking down that corridor. So they get in front of them. They didn't notice, so. But whatever,
Some of the lines at Disneyland are, like, really poorly designed.
Yeah, somehow there were these two people in front of me. I was with my friend. There were these two people in front of us, and somehow by the time we got to the front of the line, we were in front of them. I don't know how that works. The line does split in two at one point, but both us, me and my friend, and the people in front of us went on the same side, so I really don't know how that happened. And I realized it near the end of the line, like, wait, we were behind these people who are now behind us.
The most poorly designed line, in my opinion, was always the submarine one.
I never went on that.
I went on it like right when they reopened the new version, because they didn't have it for like 20 years, and they rethemed it to be Nemo.
Yeah.
But the line like curved around the submarine enclosure, and then there's this kind of thin pathway between the Matterhorn and the submarine enclosure, and there's the line there. And because I was there like right when it opened, the chains had stopped and the line had kept going around, and so there was this massive just line of people, and no one knew what the hell was going on. So, but yeah, so you go through the line and you go inside, and then there's a restaurant like right there by on the grotto.
So right when you get in, it's a water ride, although you don't get splashed that much. So right when you get in the boat, as soon as you start going, there's a restaurant on the side, which
it's the Blue Bayou restaurant.
I learned when I went 2 days ago, that's actually not Club 33. It's just Blue Bayou, which is right next to Club 33, and anyone can get into it.
Yeah.
But I did see Club 33 right when I got out of the ride, which I'll explain at the end, obviously. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when I was there was only one person there, and I remember from the video, the people in front of the guy recording were like, hey, look at those people eating over there. Are they real? And the guy didn't turn the camera. Jerk.
To watch people eat?
Yeah.
And here we see in their natural habitat a family of 4 eating New Orleans food.
Their natural habitat is Disneyland?
Yes.
So this was pretty cool. When I first got in the ride, I thought that it was just an open ceiling, like, I mean, or like not a non-ceiling. I thought it was just open, but then as we got further in the ride, I looked up and I was like, oh wait, that's a ceiling. Because you can't see any stars like around here because of all the light pollution, so you wouldn't look up and be like, oh look, no stars, it's a ceiling. So.
You have the exact opposite experience in Space Mountain. You look up and you're like, oh, stars, must be a ceiling.
But yeah, so in the beginning of the ride, it's really cool. I don't know if you saw it in the video, but there are these like little firefly type things.
I mean, I rode the ride like 5 years ago, so it's not like I've never been on the ride before.
Yeah, so maybe you remember. But apparently they remodeled it. Like, I mean, I don't think they would take out the fireflies of all things, but like, oh man, I gotta take out those fireflies.
They might have.
And when we were looking it up for the movies, a lot of the sources said that the ride starts with a big drop, and it does. The big drop is near the beginning, but it doesn't really start with it. You go for like a minute probably before.
Yeah, you go around the corner and you see the old dude on his cab and he's like singing the songs, and then there's the pirate skull and crossbones. It's like dead men tell no tales, and then you go into the darkness, and then there's the drop.
Yeah. So the point right before the drop was where things started getting bumpy, I guess, because I don't know why. I don't know if this is normal on the ride, because I haven't ridden the ride in years, but the boat, we kept bumping into the boat in front of us. and the boat behind us then kept bumping into us.
Yeah, I saw that on the video that they had, I guess, like, really increased the, like, density of boats on that, because I remember when I went, there was a good solid couple of feet between the boat in front of us and the boat behind us, so...
Yeah, I don't remember if that was the case last time I went on it. I don't think it was, because I'm thinking I probably would remember, but maybe it was and I just forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it just happened when they redesigned the ride. I really don't know how much they redesigned it, because I can't remember it that much, but...
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, you go down the big drop, and you start hearing the Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho, Pirate's Life for Me song.
Yeah, which was composed for the ride, I found out, in
Wow.
67.
Huh. No wonder they keep playing it so much. It's kind of annoying by the end, because the ride was actually way longer than I thought it was going to be. By the end of it, I was just like, come on, just let this end, for God's sake.
Way longer than I remembered. 15-minute ride. Yes, you go through all these...
tunnels, sort of,
it's
underground
like
area.
Grotto. It's treasure.
Yeah, there's sort of like these little scenes of dead pirates.
Yeah. There's one, I remember in our Pirates episode, we mentioned the one poster that sucked that was just a skeleton pirate, like, in rain. And that actually happens on the ride, like, right before you exit the grotto of all the things. There's a skeleton driving a maroon ship in the rain. It looks exactly like the poster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. I remember what you're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant a wanted poster in the jail for whatever reason, but yeah. So I guess that's where that comes from.
Yeah. Then there's Davy Jones being all like, "Dead men do tell tales, says I, Davy Jones."
Yeah, my favorite part of the beginning, I think, or like, not my favorite part, but my favorite scene, I guess, from these beginning parts was the guy in the bed who, like, he's a skeleton, obviously, and he's surrounded by, like, these riches, and he's looking into a mirror, I think, or something. I think it was a mirror. I don't know why I liked that one. I just did.
My favorite part of the ride when I rode it was always when you sail past, which is right now actually, when you sail past the ship that's bombarding the fort, it feels like you're sailing under these cannonballs that are flying. So like blast air in your face, and
yeah. And
cool.
I was trying to find out whether they actually synced it up or not, because on one side you have the ship firing the cannons, and on the other side you have the water splashing.
Yeah.
To, like, they're missing, right? They're hitting the water. So I was trying to see if they, like, synced it up, like, hey, the cannon blasts, and then, like, a couple seconds later the water shoots up, but I couldn't figure it out because it was just too hectic, so whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic. Then you round the corner, I guess, into the... I always assumed that this part you went into Tortuga, home of the pirates, but according to Wikipedia, no, you're just at some random place the pirates are invading.
Yeah, there was this one character, I think it's at this part. I didn't know if this was supposed to be Jack Sparrow. Well, Jack Sparrow's definitely the end, but there's a guy here who either is him or looks like him.
He's supposed to be hiding behind the dresses, if that's the one you're talking about.
No, he was the guy I'm talking about was sort of just brandishing a sword, like there. He's just kind of standing there.
I know for certain there's 3 Jack Sparrow animatronics, because I saw two of them on the videos. There's one who's popping out of the water bucket.
I didn't notice that one.
There's the one at the end, and then according to Wikipedia, there's one who's hiding behind the dresses in the one scene. So.
Oh, well, I guess this wasn't one of them, but he kind of looked like Jack Sparrow, this pirate here.
In April, they briefly took out, for one day, they took out the animatronic that was hiding behind the dresses and had Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow there, interacting with the guests, and then like no one realized, hey, that's actually Johnny Depp.
Yeah, the animatronics look pretty good, except the animals. The animals don't look that great.
Yeah.
But oh well.
I mean, these animatronics are
made by Disney, so like they're probably some of the best.
Yeah, exactly. They're also kind of ancient, so
still look good. But
yeah, they hold up. They there's a lot of kind of like little, I guess, like scenes playing out during all the rest of it, which are kind of fun to try and spot.
Yeah, Davy Jones is in this. He's on a mist screen thing as a projection, and you go through him.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool. You go through him. I mean, it doesn't look that great, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, in my opinion, well, I mean, it didn't like ruin the ride or anything, but I thought it didn't fit with the rest of the ride because it just looked sort of bad. I guess that's just a result of like, hey, it's being projected onto mist. So, yeah. Also, it just looked out of place to have this one recorded guy and everything else is animatronic and stuff, so.
Yeah. So then you go under this arch, and then all of a sudden the town's on fire.
And everyone's just like...
okay with it.
Yeah. Like that image we mentioned however many weeks ago. I don't know if it was... I was probably on Trust Your Doctor.
Yeah, it was on Trust Your Doctor. The dog is like, this is fine. Everything is fine. On the video, so you go under this part where there's like a chair teetering on this thing, and on the video the guy's like, hey, it's working again, and I was like, wow, did it ever stop working?
Huh. I didn't feel this, but there's this part where you go under a bridge, and this guy is dumping out a bottle of whatever, and then apparently it actually does dump water on you. Because the people in front of me were like, what? I think I just got splashed. But I don't know if they were just faking it, or if they thought they got splashed, they didn't, or if they actually did.
Maybe it was all psychosomatic, or whatever that word is.
I don't know. Maybe it just sort of missed you. I really don't know. One thing I didn't like is when you're sitting down on the ride, the chairs sort of have you leaning back. So if you want to sit up, you have to actually, like, sit up yourself. But when you go, the first time you go down that big splash at the beginning, the part of the chair where like the back of the chair meets the seat got like all wet. So yeah, that kind of sucked.
I'm sure
redesign those chairs.
I'm sure there's some convoluted reason behind why they're angled at that angle, because Disney's usually pretty specific about like every design item ever.
I mean, maybe not. It's from like, this ride is pretty old.
Yeah, but they revamped it multiple times.
I'm sure but maybe they just didn't care about the chairs. Like, they obviously don't care about the lines or anything at Disneyland that's outside of the damn rides.
I mean, there's only so much like line space you could just build before you start just taking up the walkways you need to get
just
between
buy
point A and
Anaheim,
B.
honestly, and make a giant Disneyland and evict everyone from their homes. Okay, no.
Wow. I just found out there's just opened 1 year ago, Disneyland Shanghai. I think it's Shanghai Disneyland.
Huh.
And apparently a lot of people complained because people were just like publicly urinating on bushes and stuff instead of going to the restroom. And they're like,
Nice.
God damn it, people.
We needed a Disney Sea here at the home of Disneyland.
They can put it down there by SeaWorld and run them out of business.
Well, I bought an annual pass at Disneyland. I got the cheapest one because the non-cheapest ones are kind of just a waste. But one of the most expensive ones lets you get into SeaWorld and Legoland.
Wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Especially since SeaWorld is in San Diego and Legoland is in like Carlsbad, I think.
Yeah, Carlsbad.
And Disneyland is
the other
like
direction.
Hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
I was also going to mention there's no seatbelts on this ride. Not that it needs them because there's not any big like twists and turns, but
high adrenaline ride. I mean, maybe you kind of need them when you go up that steep incline at the end of the ride.
Yeah, that was, I guess, the only part where you might need them and the beginning.
Yeah. It's only the two drops at the we forgot to mention the other drop right after the Davy Jones Miss thing, but those are the only two drops on the whole ride.
The second one wasn't like that major after the first one. They probably should have made the first one smaller and the second one bigger. But oh well.
So yeah, goes through Burning Village, then there's a shootout, and then you go up the thing and there's Jack Sparrow singing yo ho,
yeah.
For me.
I don't know if you noticed in the video, but the shootout was kind of funny because they were both there was like tons of dynamite right next to them and they were firing at each other just like ha ha ha. And then you see the Jack Sparrow thing and then kind of just ends underwhelmingly, kind of, sort of, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because they put the drops at the beginning.
Yeah. Kind of weird.
It's kind of like a ride I built in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 once.
Were the park guests satisfied with it?
Yeah.
Can you read people's minds in that?
Yes.
You're just a godlike overlord creating this theme park.
No gods or man. Only theme parks. Yeah, also in that game, the people spend like weeks in the theme park because the time...
Because you trapped them in.
No, because they like walk around the park at like a regular pace and ride the rides, but the time in the game goes a lot quicker because it's like simulating building and stuff. So you watch the guy walk from one end of the park to the other, and it's like 3 weeks past in game. You're like, why are you still here? You haven't eaten anything. How are you still alive?
I live and breathe theme parks.
So yeah, that's the ride.
Yeah, if you're interested in going on it yourself, go to Disneyland, spend however much you need to get there.
Well, I think there's definitely also one at Magic Kingdom, which is in Orlando.
And supposedly better Disney place. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Well, because it's got like 3 theme parks in one.
Yeah, and it isn't... I realized, because the last time I went to Disneyland, I was like 14, which... whatever. I guess I wasn't that much shorter or smaller, but, you know, maybe I was. Mm-hmm. I realized how cramped and small Disneyland is a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also a Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland Paris. And there's also one at Shanghai Disneyland, but it's completely different. It's like digital experience with boats and stuff. There's a video of it on the channel that we watched this one on, but I didn't care enough to watch it. Yeah, Disneyland basically everywhere.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the few rides that has a copy at pretty much every Disneyland, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention after you get off the ride. I was like, oh, I knew Club 30. You could see Club 33 like pretty much right when you get off, because when you get out of the ride, you of course go past a gift shop, but
like basically every ride at Disneyland.
Yeah, you. The worst one is probably the Star Wars or Star Tours, I think, where you're forced to go into the gift shop. I think the other ones you can sort of walk by a gift shop.
Yeah, because the Star Tours exits into the gift shop. Yeah. Actually, the Buzz Lightyear ride does that too.
Huh. Well, this one you can have a choice. You can either go left and exit, or you can go right into the gift shop. I didn't go into the gift shop, obviously.
You didn't want to buy a picture of yourself on the ride? Actually, I don't think the Pirates of the Caribbean ride has cameras that takes pictures of you.
Especially because it's dark as hell inside. Anyway, you get out and you're sort of... I had actually never been to this part of Disneyland, and I've been to Disneyland like probably 6 or 7 times maybe. But I'd never been to this part, which is sort of like an alley, sort of, I guess meant to look like New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And Club 33 is right there. It's as soon as you exit, if you look to your left, there's Blue Bayou, which anyone can just go in. And right next to that, there's like Club 35, or just a building that says 35 really prominently and visibly. And then right next to that, there's just sort of this small sign that says 33, and then like a hidden doorbell.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen it.
Yeah.
So
it's not that hard to find. Like, if you were to ever go there again, you could probably find it pretty easily, actually. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll look for it.
It's
if I ride the Pirates ride.
You don't have to ride the Pirates ride to see it. You can just walk there.
Yeah, but I feel like the only actual thing in the New Orleans quarter of Disneyland that's any worth checking out, unless you want to go eat food at the Blue Bayou, is the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
There's a Haunted Mansion. I don't know if that's in the New Orleans section, but
isn't that like on the
border?
It's in
the spooky section. I don't know.
That's on the border between the New Orleans and like Frontierland? No, Adventureland? I don't know. It's really kind of confusing. Is there a difference between
Frontierland and Adventureland?
Yes, because Big Thunder's in Frontierland and Jungle Cruise is in Adventureland.
Oh, okay, yeah, Adventureland is that.
Adventureland is right at the front.
Yeah. No, Haunted Mansion, I think, is farther down than the Pirates area. I don't know.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion's by Frontierland because it's right there before you go into Frontierland, because Splash Mountain's right after the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think the Jungle Cruise exists anymore.
No, they reopened it.
Oh, okay. They reopened it.
I don't know if they remodeled it in any way, but yeah. They closed Indiana Jones. That's not opening for... It's supposed to open in spring 2017, which is like now, so I don't know when they're reopening it.
That ride breaks down a lot.
I've never seen it break down. Like I said, I've been to Disneyland probably 6 or 7 times.
Well, from what I've heard, it breaks down a lot because every vehicle on that ride has hydraulics and systems in it that can break down. So
Still better than Knott's. Like half the rides are closed every time you go there.
Ghost Rider is like
Should be permanently closed.
Throw a dart at a dartboard to find out if it's open.
I thought you were going to say throw a dart at the ride to watch it crumble before your feet.
Have you ever been on Ghost Rider?
No, because every time I went to Knott's, it was closed.
Yeah, the one time I went to Knott's, it was open. I went with school and we made this thing where we're going to go on the first ride we see. Of course, Ghost Rider is literally right there on the left of the entrance. We're like, oh, I guess we're riding Ghost Rider. Thanks, guys.
Did you go on Accelerator?
No.
Wow. Probably the most worthwhile ride there.
Didn't you say it was overrated, like on the last episode of this podcast?
Yeah, but every ride there kind of sucks, so...
Yeah, well, okay, I guess that's the ride. Pirates of the Caribbean. You can email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters. Your opinions on theme park cost.
Your opinions on the now overpriced Disneyland tickets. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Last time I went to Disneyland, it was like 50. I went with school, so I didn't pay for it. But last time I went, it was like $50 per ticket, and now it's like $110. Yet they haven't really made many noticeable improvements that can justify a raised price. They just raise the price because they know people are going to pay for it no matter what.
Well, I feel like inflation can account for 10 of those dollars raised.
Yeah, but it's still like more than double.
Well, they're building Star Wars Land there. They tore down that parking lot to build Star Wars Land. I don't know if you saw the construction while you were there.
No, I
Probably
didn't.
not, because it was 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're building Star Wars Land over to the... I think it's on the left, by Adventureland, actually.
I don't know. It didn't really seem
I
like...
actually think that's why Indiana Jones is closed right now, because they tore down the parking lot right behind Indiana Jones to do construction.
Huh, I don't know.
Anyway, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Google Play. Almost at iTunes. Google Play at Triple Play.
Well, I mean, they haven't changed it, so...
Yeah, but I've already said Apple Podcasts. It would have been weird.
Whatever.
Yeah, Triple Play. Leave a rating if you like the show.
Check us on Facebook, Triple Play. Or... Yeah.
Yes. That's this podcast.
Like us on Facebook, let's check us on Twitter at 3P Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next time, like we mentioned before, I think, we're watching the Aladdin trilogy. But until then,
Whoa.
the end.